I look back in my life, I look at my kids, and I say, you know what? The thing that drives you is not money, it's passion. Passion drives you. The money will come if you have passion.
I would not say I was a faithful guy for a long time, but I was just always very pessimist, and something changed when I started a business. There's like a different faith when you tell yourself you're not going to give up.
I learned from everybody. I mean, I learned from the porter that washed our cars at the body shop to CEO of a bank. You know what I mean? I learned something from everybody. I'm always learning.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 15, and today I'm here with home builder, home remodeler, furniture man, Pat Perrino.
How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing good today. Thank you for coming on. I've wanted to do this for probably a couple months now, and we finally got a time lined up. So for everyone out there, you know, Pat is someone who is running like a very high caliber business. And a lot of you who follow me, who maybe you've done a couple flips, or maybe you're just starting to get into real estate, there's going to be a lot of cool things that we're going to learn today. So Pat, let's bring it back to day one. How did you first get started as an entrepreneur?
I started in the gas stations, working in gas stations, and when I was 14 years old. And then from there, I graduated into a body shop.
And so you were working in the gas station and body shop?
Working in the gas station, and started my own body shop.
Okay.
While I was working in the gas station when I was around 17 years old. And I always wanted to be an architect, and for whatever reason, that just didn't play out. My uncles were all in concrete and construction businesses, so around my grandmother's table, when we sat down on Saturdays and the families got together, we had a close-knit family that you had to be at grandma's house on Saturday. And you wanted to be there as a kid because it was listening to them all, and it was really something. You know, I even carried on now with my family. You know, we pretty much on every Sunday they come over, we cook, and it's a whole get together, the whole family. So, you know, there's jokes said that there could be 16 people at my house, or they could be 40 friends that come over, and you know, just our family's 16. So, it's awesome that we brought that back from my childhood and what I remember, and you know, and then what happened was I was doing really well in the body business. So I went to Arizona. And when I went to Arizona, I was looking at some houses and stuff, and we went there for a vacation. I said, God, I don't see anything like that out here. So I brought back a little floor plan. I had it downsized, and we ended up building that house for ourselves. And make a long story short, the architect that designed it wanted to see when it was done. And he came over and said, why don't you get in this business? I said, well, you know what? The banks want to see a track record and all that. And he goes, well, I'm building 2 or 3 a year. Start building with me, and then you can go on your own. So that's basically what I did.
And so my uncles also did concrete and that. So that's kind of funny. But when you were sitting around those tables as a kid, was it you specifically they were pushing to make a move, or did you just kind of hear they were running businesses and something ticked in your head?
You know, they talked about business, they talked about life, and they lived in homes that I wanted to live in. I lived in Collinwood and grew up in Collinwood. They lived in the Heights areas, Mayfield Heights, Richmond Heights at the time. And, my dad died when I was 12. So my mom was pretty much a single mom. She didn't even drive. So everywhere she went, she took a bus. So pretty much, I rode my bike or I didn't get somewhere. And so I pretty much stayed in the neighborhood. And that's why I started working at a young age, and was able to buy a car when I was 16 years old, and got
That's
some
a big
freedom.
deal.
Yeah, it was a real big deal, to be able to get out of the
What was
neighborhood.
your first car?
It was an El Camino, 1971 El Camino, and it was pretty cool. It was mint, and it was a nice car.
So you get your first car at 16. A year later, you have your first business.
Correct.
Yeah. Were you scared to did you tell a lot of people that you were doing it? Like, were people supportive, not supportive?
You know what? My mom said to go work for my uncles, obviously, go work construction, run a backhoe. I said, Mom, I'll be doing that all my life. I do that. At 17, I knew that. At the gas stations, it was funny that I actually drew out what I wanted. I drew out at 14 years old. I was an artist. My third grade teacher took me to art school. At least I could copy anything. I could draw anything by looking at it. So she takes me to art school because she figured I had talent. I go to art school, and these kids are drawing army scenes like there was just by not looking at anything, and they're throwing bombs, shooting machine guns. They're and just as fast as they can move a pencil, they were drawing. I said, I don't have a talent like that, So, but anyways, so I drew out my body shop. I drew out a mechanical shop. I drew out tow trucks, and I wound up putting it all together in Euclid. It was called Action Auto Body and Frame. I wound up with, I think it was right around 20 tow trucks at one point in time. Large body shop, did very well, and just worked hard, worked very hard.
And so you didn't go to college then?
I did not.
And at the time, was that kind of a thing that was being pushed by everyone or not so much?
Not so much, I would think, with me, because I was already, I just knew I wasn't going to college.
Yeah.
I was starting a business.
Yeah.
College was in my way.
So what's funny is I had that thought when I was 17 that I wanted to, and I went to college. And I dropped out with a year left. When COVID hit, I started my business. I kind of saw the writing on the wall that, there were 6 companies I wanted to work for. And in a senior level class, you had to write them down. When COVID happened, they all went out of business.
Yeah, wow.
And I was like, well, I guess I should probably figure this out.
Yeah.
But so when you were in that time period, you take the risk. Was it just Pat, the solo operator, or did you hire staff on pretty quick?
I had a partner. Huey was my partner, and in the first body shop. And then once I left there, I went and opened up a gas station in Cuyahoga Falls. That was in South Euclid that I had the body shop. And I had partners there, Dale and Lenny. And I really didn't like Cuyahoga Falls and Akron. I had a close-knit family back home in Cleveland, and I had a lot of friends. And my whole life was changed when I went to Akron because we were working really hard to build that gas station business. And it was like night and day. So I had a girlfriend. I hardly seen her anymore. It was far enough away where you couldn't come back. I mean, we were working night to day to build it up. And then we decided to get married. I said to myself, I just can't raise my kids out here. I just can't. I can't raise a family out here. I don't want to live out here. So we wound up going back home, and I opened up a body shop. And it's the guy I used to work for is the guy we became partners.
Gotcha.
And one of the other guys that used to work there as well. And we did extremely well. We opened up another gas station, and I said, you know what, I had enough. I'm going back home. And that was just during the years when interest rates were 21%, and my father-in-law was in one ear, stay where you're at, you're making money. You don't know what's going to happen. At first I said yes, then I it ended up he wanted to open another one up in Canton. I'm like, you're going to give me
That's even further. Yeah.
That's even further. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm going to open this thing up, and I'm going to do it. And so I did. And I was the body man, the tow truck driver. I bought a tow truck. I was able to start the body shop, and I was the tow truck driver, the body man, and all that.
How do you trust your own intuition when people are in your ear telling you to play it safe or do one thing, but your gut's telling you something else?
It was funny because I got in business at that time, 1981, to make $350 a week. And that wasn't very difficult when I started working to do that. So I hit my goals really quick. I always had kind of goals of what I wanted to do. I had goals from when I was 14. I wanted this mechanical shop, body shop, and towing company. I got it, and I worked for it, and I did it all my own, and I guess I've always been that way. I've always dreamed big, and generally I've dreamed a little bit smaller than the actual dreams became. So.
Yeah. And do you think that that's an important skill you have, like kind of listening to that, knowing, okay, I want to do more than what I just accomplished?
I think anybody, first of all, I look back in my life, I look at my kids, and I say, you know what? The thing that drives you is not money, it's passion, okay? Passion drives you. The money will come if you have passion. If you work for the money, you'll never get it. If you have passion and you work because you love something and you do it well, the money will come.
Is that how you felt when you got into the home building? Or was it just because for me, I do have days where it's fun, where I'm like, wow, this is cool. I get paid to do this. I like it. And I'm curious for you, because it seems like when we're at the office, you have one energy, but when we're at the house, you're like in a way better mood.
Yeah, I mean, I like creating things. So for me, when I had the gas stations, we had mechanical, and you get an engine to run, you do brakes, you can't see it. Body work, you can take a car that's totally mangled and make it like brand new. So it's inspiration. It's kind of like, wow, I did that. And the same thing with housing. Housing, we can be I can be creative. I can think out of the box. You go to our website and you look at our houses, and you've seen them, you've been through them, you've videoed them. They're different. They've got my stamp on them, my imprint on them, and our designers. We have designers now also. So we took it a step further, and the designers, that's all they do. It started out with me, and now it's with them, and they just do a fabulous job. I mean, it's just incredible.
The one thing
you got to surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, the one thing I've noticed about your houses I love is on the second floor, how you'll have the master bedroom 3 steps up. So we lived in the smallest, crappiest apartment in Akron for the last, let's say, 3 years when we first started the company. And we moved up to Cleveland and got a bigger one. And it has those 3 stairs. And it seems like it's just 3 stairs, but it makes the world of difference mentally, like you're kind of in a different area of the house.
Well, the reason why we did that, and that's on our second floor master homes, is because we wanted a higher ceiling for the family room. So we were able to, instead of, at one point, that was a 2-story family room, okay? And so we were able to achieve a huge master bedroom and still have transoms above the windows and have a 12-foot ceiling or 11-foot ceiling on the first floor. So those steps are so we can raise that ceiling. And so it also creates some ambiance upstairs because it's just anything different that you look at seems custom. You know what I mean? So it creates a custom atmosphere of walking up those 3 steps once you get up there. But it also creates a huge master suite.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're utilizing that 2-story space that normally have been just volume space. And we do both. Some people want the 2-story space, and some people want just to utilize all the square footage of the home.
So you had your vacation out to Phoenix, and you kind of saw homes that weren't really here. When you first got into that partnership, how did you separate your time between, okay, I've got the other businesses already running, but I know my passion right now is the building?
Well, first of all, we were on vacation in Phoenix. The first year we went for 2 weeks. My uncles would go down there because their concrete businesses would shut down in the wintertime. So they would go there for the winters. And so they would ask me I should come and check it out. So we went there. First year we went there for 10 days, and we really loved it. And if my business wasn't going so well, I had probably moved
you
out
might
there.
be there right now.
And then, so the following year, we took my mom, and we were able to go for a month. So I lost like 30 pounds walking up Camelback Mountain and all those mountains, and was able to, just kind of relax. And I had my body shop running on was running on its own. So,
and was that the first time you had your company running without Pat?
No, I started within the second year running without me. I mean, I was always there.
Yeah.
I had my pulse on the business, but I was able to, go out with and entertain insurance adjusters and that sort of thing, and go out to lunch and kind of market. So I've always
make the big relationships. Yeah,
make the relationships, and we had and I need to go back a little bit because our businesses were all operating as mom and pops. And then what happened was there was this body shop owner and his accountant out of California. And they seen how all the body businesses were operating, and they were all mom and pops. They weren't operating as a business, and they were doing the work themselves. And which we thought, hey, it's hard to pay myself. How do I hire somebody else and pay them as well? Well, they did these skits. It was the coolest thing in the world. It was called ARMS. They created this program in Columbus, and just about every body shop in the city went there. And it changed our lives. It changed our industry. It changed everything. They did skits like we were grinding on a car or sanding a car down, and a customer would come in for an estimate, and you'd say, "Can't you see I'm busy?" And they're like, "You can't do that." The guy walks out the door or lady, and they're not coming back. So it changed our industry big time. All us the small shops became bigger shops, and we started out, they said, you got to operate with a pen. You got to take care of your business. You got to have people in there doing the work and take care of them, and, take care of your adjusters and your customers. And they went through this whole thing where I just kept saying, I want more.
Yeah.
And we came back all on fire. I mean, literally the whole city changed overnight with body shops.
Really?
At that point in time. So I, at that time, was a single body shop. And Laro Holt was one of the guys that put on that seminar. And so I had Ed Pike from, I think his shop's in Paynesville, came up to me and said, "Pat, we want to know if you want to become part of a franchise." And he goes, it's Laro Holt. He's running the franchise. I says, "I'm in."
Yeah.
I'm in. And that was the guy that we learned off of, one of the guys. And they It was incredible. It was really incredible. It changed my life. It changed my business. Changed everything.
Did that feel risky, or did it feel more risky not to join the franchise?
Yeah, the franchises are great because there's people to talk to. By yourself, I was on my own for 10 years, and you fail forward, I say, because if you're doing something wrong and you're not making money, all of a sudden you say, hey, I got to move in a different direction. Well, they've already went through all that. They've built the process. They've built the template. Matter of fact, so much so that we joined a franchise for our building company now, Epcon, just 55 and older. And so they've got the recipe. They've got everything. You don't have to recreate the wheel. They've went through all the problems. They have their own stores, and their own building company. So it's a plus plus. You can't get that type of experience on your own.
And do you think a lot of business owners maybe let their ego get in the way, thinking they've got to reinvent the wheel when, like you said, there are people who have great systems you can learn from?
Yeah, I think that there is some ego problems out there, and they think they got to do it on their own. But each tier, everybody does what they have to do, and what they want to do. For me, I've already seen the reason why I joined that franchise so fast was because they're the ones that brought me to a level he did. Not as the franchise at that time, but as and then they wound up selling the arms, which was called the seminar in the business, to 3M.
Oh, wow.
And then 3M ended up closing it down for whatever reason, but I don't know. I think just all the body shops really picked up quick, and we had an ownership mentality. The ones that did, there was the ones that didn't, and they kind of went away, But the ones that wanted to learn, and I feel I'm always learning, even in the building business. I'm always recreating. I'm always trying to do something different. I'm always trying to enhance our product, and I think that's what makes it a lot of fun. I'm not just building that cookie cutter. Even with this 55 and older, it's still we're customizing.
Yeah,
it's a customizing for 55 and older people that want to downsize, that are in bigger homes, but when they come into these homes, they feel just as big, because when you realize you only live in a few of those rooms, you live in the family room, the kitchen, and the master bedroom, mainly.
Yeah.
Okay, so if those rooms are just as big as your 5,000 square foot house that you've been maintaining, there's two of you living there, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
To downsize. And then also we're building these lifestyle communities where it's kind of a country club community, kind of like where I grew up in Collinwood. It wasn't a country club, but everybody lived on their front porches. Everybody knew everybody. So we're trying to create this type of neighborhood. We have one going in Sheffield, which is 63 homes. We're putting in a swimming pool. We're putting in pickleball and bocce and a clubhouse with an exercise for people to gather.
Yeah.
And then you could have your house and your private, they're all separate homes and all private residents. And, you're going to meet people. So if you want to go to dinner with this person or that person, you might not get along with all 63, but likelihood you're going to find 5 in there that you're going to become good friends with. So that's my new plan. That's what I'm doing. That's it's just exciting me. I'm doing a 13-lot subdivision in Willoughby Hills now, and that's going in right now. A smaller piece of property, and then we've laid out some money to start out in Menor and another 50 lot subdivision, more of the clubhouse feel and that sort of thing. Because once you get bigger, then you could more homes, you can do that. So and we have to go through this. We have to go through a moratorium, which is a vote of the people to get that through, but. We feel to go through because it's it's going to enhance the neighborhood. It's going to raise the values in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And
Mentor's already a growing place.
Yeah. And then we build our mansions, our homes for our customers, and all in between. And we're building from on your lot. We're building from Vermilion to Ashtabula. And we got houses going all in between, Solon, Aurora, and build on your lot. There, you got to be a little bit more patient, but still, we build those houses a lot faster than most of our competition.
I was saying, when I did that post the other day and I was looking at every single spot, I was like, that is so many places you guys are building right now.
Yeah.
One thing I think that's really cool about the communities that you've said a couple of times is it's a lot of modern amenities, modern homes, but bringing back the old school community. Because that's something I miss. As a kid, I lived in an area where you just played with your neighbors.
Right.
Parents were always sitting out, and then you would notice one family walks to another house, and it's not weird. But I think in some of these HOAs I've seen, and I'm not really speaking Ohio, but I know Florida, it's a big community, but no one talks to each other.
Well, the thing is that when you have kids and you're raising your kids and you got their friends, the house is full all the time. And when they all left and went to college, all of a sudden we're like, now what do we do? We're not going to hockey practice. We're not going to basketball practice. We were moving all the time. All of a sudden it was like we were retired with a full-time job. And so what these communities do as you get older, you can socialize with people. And I think it's going to bring the social, people that want to socialize. There's some people that don't want to do that. They want to live on a farm by themselves. That's not me. Myself, I'm going to want to live. Right now, my grandkids live right next door. My son lives next door. My other two kids, with their kids, live within 10 minutes of my home.
Yeah.
So there's, I think, 17 of us total between everybody, and it's great. We socialize, but now once they're all gone to college, what do we do? So in 10 years, I'm already looking, 5-10 years, that I'm going to be downsizing into one of our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And, because I want to socialize. I don't want to sit in the back by my pool by myself.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit in the family room by myself. I want to be able to go out, walk around like the old fashioned neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And I've really have just wanted to do this for such a long time. It's been a passion of mine to create neighborhoods.
How excited do you think you'll be the first day when the whole Sheffield Village is done and you can walk down the road, see everyone talking?
It's going to be unconscious. I'm going to be unconscious. It's going to be a great feeling. It really is, because I've been looking to do this for a long time, and it's coming to reality right now.
Yeah. So when you think of these projects you've got going on, this is obviously a big elevation. So how do you in your head think about doing something this much bigger than what you've been doing for a while?
Well, what we did is we have a partner in that's already been doing it. And so instead of us going in and saying, hey, we're going to start this project, something like this on our own, we have the franchise. And on top of the franchise, we took in another Epcon franchise as a partner. And they're just almost built out in Akron and Fair Lawn.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we've been partnering up with people so that, we're not doing it all on our own, something that we just started. So we're just kind of dipping our toes in it. Pretty big, but
yeah.
But I look at it and there's enough there not to be greedy.
Yeah, I think another thing you don't give yourself enough credit for is you seem like you know everyone.
I don't know about that, but
so as you've gone throughout your career, like how important has it been for you to just keep up relationships, even if you're not working with someone at the time, but just to keep up those relationships and to know a lot of people?
Well, we make wine. And there's a bunch of us that make wine. And out of that, there's a bunch of other groups that make wine. I belong to a club, Melsani Club. A lot of those families, like my uncles, belong there. And families from our old neighborhood belong there. And there's a lot of interaction there. I belong, I just love people. So, I love being around people. I love just, either playing golf or just having a cigar or just,
Your biggest punishment would be no work, no phone, no people.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, golf is one that so I worked, my last labor job was for Westfield Country Club. Yeah. And just recently I signed up to sponsor a golf league. So I'm stepping back into the game. But Is it true, do you think a lot of business happens on the golf course?
It does. It does, I would say. Our Acacia, we built 49 houses and came from Acacia Country Club. I belonged there.
Gotcha.
And I met Joe Venny there, and Joe had bought this property, and then we wound up building it out together. So that came from the golf course.
Yeah.
A lot of my business early on with the body shop, with the insurance adjusters, we became friends. And I call it more like recess. I really never got really good at it because you got to practice, and I like just going out there with my buddies and just spending 4 hours and talking about nothing but, life. And that's what's really cool.
Yeah, it's a needed break because I did it. So I substituted.
It's a mini vacation.
Yeah, I substituted the golf league last year, and it was just amazing because I thought, I don't know the last time I've taken 4 hours on a Monday to just talk to other people and not be in it.
Well, I can remember getting there, and we used to play like on a Wednesday afternoon. I'd work Saturdays, so I'd play Wednesday afternoons. And I can remember being totally, totally just, I was stressed out
Yeah.
and saying, why am I even here? And I'd get to the third hole and my whole body would just go, ooh.
Yeah, you're sitting in the car taking a phone call, stressing out.
Yeah, and no, but once you get there and you start, and it's beautiful, and you start, you're playing with friends, and it's like recess. Remember school and recess? That's what it's like to me, anyways. So,
And then the other compliment I got to give you is the Christmas party. That was an awesome event. So why do you host those big events?
I love parties. I love people. That's I've been doing that for years. I started at my house where I bring in a band and backyard and just throw a party. And I've done that throughout all the years and all my businesses. I always felt I needed to give back to my customers, to my friends.
Yeah.
And
everyone only had good things to say about you there. It was very exciting. Yeah, we haven't been to a nice Christmas party like that in business yet, so that was our first one.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it keeps growing too. It's like last year was like 400 people or something.
Because Katie's like, well, how many people are going to be there? I was like, I don't know. I just know it's at 7. We're going to go show up, and the food was great. And then it was finally cool to show her the whole showroom. So I also want to ask you about that because I know you've done videos on it. But how did you think of the concept of I'm going to have every decision you really make in a home where people can actually touch and see it?
Well, what happens was we were sending people to tile companies and lighting companies. And they were telling their salespeople, just upgrade as customers no matter when they come in. So we were giving them allowances, and the allowances were never enough. We'd raise them, and they would still, and it's just the way retail works, and that I found out. So we wanted to gain control of that process in our customers. And the other thing is also each individual vendor that you send them to has their own ideas. So they're
Kind of get this big mix.
You're getting this mix. You're getting this confusion. Where now, we have our own designers. We keep them on track. We show them what they're going to get, throughout our showroom, and we have a big enough showroom to do that. This is what you're going to get, and these are your choices, and they can see that. And this is what most people upgrade. We'll go into they've been upgrading to quartz instead of granite now. A lot of quartz. They've been we do a lot of these custom ceilings that they upgrade. So, for not a lot of money, you can really just dress up your home.
Yeah, it was the first time I admitted to myself I want a nice house one day. Because I think our generation plays the minimalist game a lot, and we say we don't want these things. But then I think it was the first time we met in office, you're like, well, let me just walk you around here. And and you're taking me through it. I'm like, holy crap, I want one of these houses one day.
Well, we are the total solution. We have furniture, we have accessories, we have pictures, we have rugs, we have carpeting, we have tile, we are our own cabinet distributor, we are our own lighting distributor.
Yeah.
So, we are our own lighting store, our own cabinet store. And so we're able to do these things, and we're able to dress up our houses because we are in the furniture business.
Yeah.
And if you look at most of our houses, 99% that make our website are furnished and built by us. There's a big difference because for years, I got in the furniture business about 15 years ago. And before that, we would just bring pieces in, from this house, that house. And you'd go into even my own home and it would be all hodgepodge. Where it's a complete different story when you're building a home and you're furnishing that home.
And you're picking at, and
you start from the beginning, a designer helps you to put it all together.
Yeah.
It's just like a house without landscaping. Also, you get a great landscaping job and it dresses up the house.
So for you, as you begin your home building career, how much did you as Pat care more about your personal home, the more homes you built?
I think of every model I built as my personal home. I think of everything I do, even our customers' homes as my personal home. I always want to see the best outcome. We've won many awards with our customers' homes, and all I say is it's their idea. They come in, they may take one of our floor plans and they'll tweak it. They never build it the same. They tweak it when it comes to our higher end homes, and it's their ideas with our designers helping them just pull it all together, and us build it and pull it all together.
Do a lot of people doubt that it can be really as custom as they want, and then they're excited at the end that, wow, this is really what I imagined?
I would think 99% of our customers
exceed expectations.
Exceed expectations, correct?
Yeah.
So, and it's now with the new Epcot product, it's doing a little bit more standardized. They get to pick their own product, their own interiors and stuff and exterior, but it's done more systematically because you have to when you're building that many homes.
Yeah.
And but it's still custom with we just narrowed down the custom features as far as the selections so that they can pick, but it's really narrowed down to what's going on today and what's in and what's out.
Yeah. What are some trends? Because I think that's another thing you're very good at, is seeing the trends and then putting the system in place to capitalize. What's some trends that you think are coming in the next 5 to 10 years with living?
Right now, the trend is to make something old look like modernized, not new, not like contemporary, but right now, like you see the old Camaro, Chevy Camaro, you see the new Camaro, you see the old and the new.
There's hints of it, yeah.
But and you could tell exactly what it is. You could tell what the Mustang was if you knew cars. That's the same thing I've taken to housing. What I've done is I've tried to modernize, like a farmhouse, a modern farmhouse, like a French Normandy, a modern French Normandy. We try to put like an eclectic flair on them all. And with the new products coming out, the bigger tile, just the colors, the mixture of colors that we're doing in kitchens and cabinets. We might do the island in a stained version, and we'll do the background in white, or we might do the lowers in black and a stained version on the island. That's all our customization that we do in all our houses. And you'll see it in our Epcon, also our smaller houses and our West Pines houses. Yeah. You'll see the different customizations that we do in our small homes as well.
Yeah, it's very cool to me. I've learned just a lot about houses in general, but I think one question I'm curious of is, as you get into these bigger projects, does it seem more difficult, or is it just a different task for you?
I've been doing this for over 30 years, and we've built houses in the IX Center, tore them down, and I mean, completely done.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huge homes and decorated them. And they told me, well, you don't have to put the doors on. You don't understand something. So if I can do it, it's going to be done.
The doors are going to be on.
Yeah. So so we did that. We did that with 2 homes, and it was pretty awesome. So that was something new. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know how many trucks it would take to move it,
So explain that process to me. So you built it in the IX Center?
We built it in the IX Center. Then we disassembled it and rebuilt it. Well, two homes.
Was this for a competition or something?
This was just it was for the Home and Garden Show.
Okay.
Yeah, the Home and Garden Show. So
that is awesome.
That was awesome. We've done a little bit of everything. We put elevators in. We've done a lot of wine cellars, a lot of elevators, a lot of steam rooms, a lot of saunas. Pretty much anything you can imagine we've done. We've done glass block walls and dividing rooms, and early on in my career, and we've done anything that's custom. I try to get into. I do a lot of, we're part of a 20 group, so we go around and see other builders around the country, 20 of them that we meet every quarter. That gives us what they're doing, and we kind of mix and match. Then I'll go online and I'll search, custom homes, custom farmhouses, custom French Normandies, and I'll get a lot of ideas from that. And then just through experience and through our customers too, we get a lot of experience. There's a lot of our clients that come in that ask for things. I'm like, man, that was a great idea.
And you would have never thought of it?
No, I mean, I learned from everybody. I mean, I learned from the porter that washed our cars in the body shop to the CEO of a bank. You know what I mean? I learned something from everybody. I've always, I'm always learning.
Do you think that's why you've been able to have like such longevity in your career?
Well, I mean, they would tell me sometimes to leave the table because I would ask so many questions to my uncles, sitting around the table.
All right, Pat,
everybody else want to go play. I want to sit there and talk to them. I want to listen to what they were saying. Then I start asking questions, and I started asking too many questions. They're like, will you be quiet for a while? So I always asked a lot of questions. That's how I learned.
Yeah. That is too cool. What do you think is the hardest, I guess, mental hurdle you've ever had to get over as an entrepreneur, even from your early days to recently?
It's the ups and downs. You have to work through them, and I've had some ups and downs. And any business owner that's been in business for 30 years has. And it's how you pick yourself up. It's how you pick yourself up, how you look at it. And, I can remember thinking, hey, I had to bring my daughter back from college after all this. And I just dug in. Rolled up my sleeves, and I just worked really hard. It would have been a lot easier to say, hey, I'll just give up. But, and you work through those hurdles. You're going to have ups and downs like you do in anything, marriage, whatever, and, your children and all that. And you work through it. I mean, it's just life. And life is, and I look back at some of the things, I'm like, God, that was a great learning experience, to go through that. I mean, it's not so fun when you're going through it, but
you're not thinking it's a learning experience then. You're just pissed.
Yeah, but it feels good when you come out of it. And, and we were one of the few builders that came out of that '08.
Yeah, talk about that, because I was in middle school at the time, so I wasn't in the business world yet.
Well, '08 was a thing that was, first there was a lot of building going on. We were building over $1 million homes, and the banks were loaning pretty readily on those homes. And then what happened was they kept raising the interest rates, kind of like what they're doing now, okay? Somebody that owns a business might be able to afford a triple interest rate raise, but somebody that owns, is working at a set cost of living can't afford that.
Yeah.
So, you just have to do what you have to do to get through it. And '08 was really tough because of our whole business stopped, our business model. So I had to look at doing things differently back then, because instead of doing wood beam ceilings, we did drywall beam ceilings. We built smaller homes and to get through it, and we got through it. I mean, we started going crazy with the smaller homes. And we still had those $1 million features in those smaller homes, but it was built a little differently. I kind of learned how to do it, cost effective, so that I could give them the same look without spending.
And when did it feel like you were, quote unquote, out of the recession? Like, when did it actually feel like this is maybe a new normal for you?
I would think it took us a couple years to get a new product line going, because we had all spec houses out there. They were your $1 million house model. So we had to build a model that was $399, and we did it at Willoughby Hills in Pine Valley. And so once we did that, then it started coming back. And I think that was 2 years into it. So and it could have been 3 years. I don't remember, but I think it was 2 years. It took us 2 years to change our business plan and change, because in building it takes 10 months to build a home. So
it's a different timeline than most other businesses.
So you could build 5 homes and it'd be a different story 10 months from now. You know what I mean? So,
and to compare that to 2020, where like if that was 2008, and then 2 years later it's come back to normal, what do you feel like the market is doing now? Because obviously 2020 was probably your last big switch, right? Where things just
actually we thought it was going to be, but actually we got busier. 2020, we thought it was going to hurt us. It didn't hurt us, and now we're as busy as we can be. But again, I've been around for a while. You know what I mean? People, all the realtors know me. They've known what I've done over the years. It's different than being a new guy on the block, even 5 years old. I have a lot of I have a lot of people I know out there in the industry, in the business. I think I probably got on Facebook 1,000 realtor friends. I don't know, 800, something like that. But as you get older and as you work something longer, you get to know more and more people, and you get more of a reputation of, hey, this guy's been around for a while. So, and then also I outworked my competition, and that's what I did. As far as for my business, and I'm sure the guys that survived did the same thing.
Yeah,
my competition that's there now. I'm sure they did the same thing. They had to survive. I mean, we had to outwork our competition. If you're still around today, we outworked our competition.
Yeah,
and all we did was rolled up our sleeves, didn't complain about it, and went to work. That's what I did. I can't say what everybody else did, but I'm going to imagine they had to do the same thing. I just went to work. I said, this is what I love. I don't want to do anything else. I need to make it work and
make it work.
Make it work.
What, for maybe a younger business owner out there that...
praying.
Yeah.
Praying, I think, always.
So this is a big one for me.
Yeah.
I would not say I was a faithful guy for a long time. I was just always very pessimist, and something changed when I started a business. There's like a different faith when you tell yourself you're not going to give up. How important has faith been for you? Faith
is really important. Faith, I can tell you, faith is saved my ass more than once. You know, I could feel it when it happened. I could feel it, you know, when I've been down and out, or I could feel when my faith kicks in. You know, and I'll tell you a story. I pray, saying the same prayers for a long time, and I was praying for this guy for years that had cancer. My kid played hockey with him and stuff, and I'm thinking, God, I wonder if he's still alive. And I hadn't seen him in 10 years. You know, next day I go into a restaurant, and he's in there. He says, Pat, I hardly recognize him. I go, oh my God. I mean, I had like this come over me, this flushness, and it was really an experience that, you know, you could feel. I mean, that's God talking to you. You know?
Yeah.
That's God talking to you. Yep.
I heard a good quote about faith. It was, on my good days, it carries me, and on my bad days, it's beside me.
Right.
And that's just crazy. I heard a quote the other day. It's like, God will only give you so many signs. And as you're aware, like a lot of the people I work with are in real estate. You know, I've got realtors, lenders, builders, everyone under the sun. And I was on a phone call at like 10 a.m. on a Thursday, and I had a networking event that night. And one of the ladies I work with was like, well, why don't you just buy a cheaper house, rehab it, make a little money off it? You already know everyone in that transaction. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I do actually kind of know like every single person to make it happen. I just don't do that. And she's like, well, if this wasn't a sign, God will show you one. And so I go to a networking event that night, 300 people. And there was like a toss your business card in to win a Home Depot gift card for your next renovation. And I won.
Awesome.
And I was like, yeah, all right, it's time to take some action here. Yeah. But another question I want to ask you is, because it's easy to say you're faithful when things are good, right? You know, oh, God gave me everything, this is good. But when things get tough, what are some of the things maybe you're praying about, and what do you say to yourself? Is it asking for strength?
It's just, pray about the situation, pray about making it better, pray about, maybe for something to change, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whether it be health for someone, a friend of mine, or, and I've seen it work, and I would say it's part of faith. That I've seen it with friends of mine that I prayed for that had, gone through some things, and it's. I would like to think that was what helped them. You know what I mean? And I know that's what helped. I could feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it's as important as anything. More important to me than anything, is that personal relationship.
Yeah. And so as you've gone throughout your career, obviously you've made a lot of friends along the way. How important is just having a family unit to you? Because I would say that's something that's impressive. Obviously your son, Tony, shout out to Tony, works with you now. How important is the family unit and keeping that together?
It's the most important thing. It really is. It's very important, and it's my whole life, as far as I'm concerned. Just our family growing up in Collinwood, and we didn't have a lot of things, and but we had each other, and we were always proud. I mean, early on when I was a kid, I was kind of discriminated against because my mother spoke Italian. I would even tell my mom, "Don't speak Italian when you're walking down the street with me, because everybody's going to make fun of me." And then later on, you've seen a lot of these kids that were making fun of me that wanted to be Italians. They weren't Italian. So, so it was kind of, I always loved who I was. I didn't want to be anything else. You know what I mean? I loved my heritage. I loved my family. And I just brought that out. I brought that out to carried it over, should I say. Carried it over to our family. And that's why I started making, I didn't even like wine when I started making wine, but my grandfather made wine. My uncle made wine. My uncle's getting older,
either way.
and and their wine was terrible too, by the way. But the parties, and they'd make the sausage and they'd cook the pasta, and everybody be in there having a good time. And so I told my uncle, hey, I want to make some wine. Start making some wine. So we did. And now there's 10 of us in our group that make wine. We've been doing that probably for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And we have our own label, and we don't sell it. We just we use it at a lot of the parties.
Yeah.
And friends come over and stuff like that. So, and it's pretty good. I mean, we get our grapes from California and stuff, but it's all about that, I think, connection. It's about getting together. If you don't have family and friends, I mean, what is there? I mean,
the money's not worth it at that point.
Yeah. The money is just, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
Friendship, true friendship, true family stays together.
Yeah, that's an awesome quote. When did your family come here from Italy? Are you first, second, third generation?
I'm second. Both my mother and my father came from Italy. And I would say my dad might have been here first,
Okay.
and my mom came, I know, in my sister was being born almost on the ship. So she was born in 57, so that's when she came in 1957.
So you're almost like 100% Italian.
I'm 100% Italian. Yeah.
I found out the other day I'm 7%. I did that
Did you?
MyHeritage DNA.
Yeah.
It was like 1/3 Irish, a third Scandinavian, Italian was on there. I think Nigerian was on there. It was like I'm a mutt. It was a little bit of everything. But I've also been to Italy though, and I wanted to ask you, like, do you go vacation to Italy?
We went to Italy in June, and I was there 3 times. I was there when my dad died. My mom took us the following year. We spent 3 months in Italy.
What area?
Campobasso, which is Zernia. It's a small town
Okay.
in Italy, and it was cool. I mean, we were there for 3 months, and then we took our kids back. We went back when my daughter was 12. And it's funny because we'd go fishing down there with kids when we were 12, and with our hands, and you would reach under a rock and grab a fish. And so the same kid that I was fishing with our hands was there and took my daughter and my kids, which is really, really wild. And there at that time, they'd watch TV, and we were used to TV, and they'd have everybody lined up like a movie theater, and they would tell you, shut up, don't talk.
TV's on.
And I can remember a Dirty Harry. I don't know if you're Clint Eastwood. You're probably too young for
Haven't seen it.
So Dirty Harry was a big movie back then, and that was playing, and he was speaking in Italian, So they had it, because it was in Italy.
So what are some of the best places in Ohio to get that same kind of Italian culture? Like wineries, restaurants, what are some places you love going to?
I love Nido Italia down in Little Italy, Lagos in downtown.
Yep.
Great Italian food. Michelangelo's is really good.
Okay.
Giovanni's is awesome.
Yeah.
We go there all the time. Trout Club, which is more of but that's kind of a club type place to go. I'm trying to think. Johnny's on Fulton, one of the best.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So if you could only
And Catina's does a lot of that's who did our Christmas party.
That was good.
Yeah, that's on Babbitt. That's a hidden gem.
Yeah. So if you were only allowed to make one Italian home cooked meal, what are you making?
Well, pasta is definitely my favorite, but I am like that's another passion of mine is cooking, and that came about 20 years ago. And I don't think about anything when I cook. So I love cooking. I could cook for 2 people or 100 people, and I've done it, and just love it, just like a symphony, kind of.
And do you and Colleen cook together, or is it
at times? Yeah. Oh yeah, she's a great cook. We'll do eggplant.
I see that eggplant parm a lot.
Yeah, that we just started, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I got that off the internet, and I'll tell you what, it's probably one of the best dishes I've made.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome. It was supposed to be with salad on it, and I did it with parm.
Yeah.
And it's just phenomenal. Matter of fact, we're going to rack wine tomorrow, and I'm going to make it for all my buddies.
And then everyone's going to like Pat.
Yeah. So we cook when we make wine, we cook and stuff like that. So yeah, I wind up cooking, they rack the wine, and then,
Good deal.
So
I was going to also ask, in terms of a supportive partner, it seems like Colleen's a pretty supportive partner.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've been married. She was 19, I was 21. Our kids, we kind of grew them up. I mean, like, as adults almost. They were like, we were kids.
Yeah.
And I would not have it any other way. I would marry the same person absolutely tomorrow. I mean, it's just been a rock of my life. It's I often tell her, I said, we're so different. She goes, well, that's why we get along. She's so mild-mannered. Although now she wants to kind of become my mother, but as the kids are gone. But no, it's been awesome, and she's taken more of a like, hey, watching for my health, and you got to lose weight, you got to do this, you got to do that.
She's caring about you a little more than you.
Yeah, she truly, and she's always been probably the same weight as when I met her.
Yeah,
I mean, she's just solid. She's just a good person.
Yeah, I liked your compliment when you first met Katie. You said I knew there was a brain behind this operation. She started cracking up because she is the one. I mean, she's time stamping every video. She's doing all that,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can tell that out of every successful person I've met, it seems like they've got someone by their side.
Yeah. It's important, I think. It's very important.
And did you guys always work together, or when did it kind of become a working relationship as well?
When our kids were going to school and stuff, she raised them, and she didn't work. And then she started working after pretty much they were out of the house.
Yeah.
And in the business.
And that's one of the benefits of being a business owner is you can run the business and they can have a present mother.
Yeah. And I mean, it's nice because we work together, but we really don't see each other. She's on one side of the building, I'm on the other.
Yeah.
She's doing all the accounting and all the back, that stuff. And I'm doing all the creative stuff as far as the marketing and the new house plans and putting things together. That's what I really like to do.
And that's the benefit from watching of having different skill sets. She has a very different skill set than you have, and it helps. Yeah, Katie and I are the same way. If I asked her to go to 3 networking events a week, she would be out the door.
Yeah.
But hey, you want to edit all these videos and organize everything?
That's you.
Happy to, she's happy to do it.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Success is passion. If I could say one thing, it's passion. And I worry about retirement. I know it's coming. My retirement's coming.
Do you think you'll retire, or do you think you'll just have more option?
Your body just starts to. I could see I'm 64, and I could say, within 10 years. I mean, and I may want to have a piece in it and stuff, but that's
But what if some crazy technology comes out, and then you get excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do something. I got to do something.
Yeah.
But 10 years is a lifetime.
Yeah. So a lot can happen in 10. Yeah, I wonder about that because...
But it's scary. It's a scary thought. What do you do?
So my dad retired. He was, I think, 57. He was a programmer at Bridgestone for his whole career. And I don't know if he's loving retirement. Like, sure, he tells his buddies and he jokes with them, but he is renovating our house that was built in the 1880s by hand. And he helps in Akron with a recovery house and renovates it. And I'm just like, wow, is there not something bigger you want to do,
Well, it's funny because Joe, my partner in Acacia, he's 93 and he went skiing last week.
So I've heard this concept a lot. It's your body breaks down when your brain does. And if you always keep the brain moving, the body will.
And working out. I seen another thing that it said that, how many years of life you gain by working out. And I could tell that. And I try to work out every day. I eat too much, but I'm working on that now. I just went on a 1,000-day calorie diet. And actually, it's not pretty hard. It's not hard.
Are you doing the intermittent fasting where you wait to eat?
No. I'm just doing like a salad and tomatoes for lunch, or vegetable something for lunch with no calories in it. And then I'm doing like 6 ounces of meat and a vegetable, maybe either a baked potato or an eggplant or something. Just counting the calories. It's. I just started this process because I was doing a bunch of stuff. I did Weight Watchers. I did all that stuff, and you'd be amazed eating the right things how much you could eat. I mean, I really researched. I sat down and researched and said, "Hey, okay, what can I do here?" And I looked up all fruit. I didn't know pineapple has like triple the amount of calories in it.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
They sneak up on you.
Yeah, this morning, and versus watermelon and all that, and the same thing with pork versus lamb or
red meat,
or steak,
So the last guy I had on here is a personal trainer I work with, and he's a nutritionist. And basically what he was saying of, how you can make your body live longer is every time, let's say you do a curl and you break that muscle down, it will regenerate new cells.
Really?
So if you think of a person who never exercises, they've got the same cells constantly just aging and aging.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you feel great. Like in the morning, I'll get on my bike and then I'll do a workout and you feel awesome. When you don't feel so good.
I get anxious. Yeah. Today we have a home gym at our apartment and it was closed because something leaked, and I've been squirrely all day. And like after this, I'm going straight to the gym.
Are you?
So yeah, it's just one of those, when I do that, the brain works better. But what are you most excited about moving forward?
I think that our communities, our lifestyle communities, I'm very excited about that. I'm excited to help lives and change lives and bring that to this area. More of that socializing atmosphere. And I went through it with my uncle. My uncle was 82, strongest guy I knew in the world. He could climb up a tree with his fingers and the balls of his feet, you know. And he, at 82, just took a total drastic. His wife had died a couple of years prior, and he had taken a total. I could just see him going downhill, you know, really fast. So I was trying to get him into a home, somewhere they could take care of him. Not a home, but like not assisted living, but kind of like a staggered living.
At least where there's human interaction.
Yeah, interaction. So, you know, I'd say, "Oh, you got to." I took him to see a place, and he's like, you know, and just as I took him there, everybody getting out of the van that was coming in there, a big bus full of people getting out with walkers. He goes, this place is too confusing. I don't know if I want to come here. I said, listen, you don't have to. You drive. It's an apartment. You can socialize. You can do what you want. But here they can help you if you have a problem. And I just watched him, and then I watched him with his neighbors. I mean, you know, this one he liked for that reason. This one he liked for that reason. I said, listen, you go to one of these places, and there's 100 people. Chances are you're going to find 5 that you like. You know?
5, yeah.
You got 2 out of 2. You know? One's a lot older, one's a lot younger. So chances are they're not going to have much to do with you. And he kind of fought me, and then he ended up. Make a long story short, he ended up getting he had like congestive heart failure. They figured out, so put him in the hospital, his sons, and he ended up going for rehab, and then they took away his car. He's like 88, and then he went to his place. And I've watched, he's got a girlfriend, and I watched his life starting to go right back up. So my point in telling you that is living by yourself. You know, I would call him, say, Uncle, hey, we're going to a club. Why don't you meet me for dinner? All of us guys are going to be here on a Wednesday, and he would meet us. And I mean, you know, he was just so bored out of his mind. You know, I'd call him at home, and you could hear the TV blaring. Like it was like, you know.
Screaming at him.
Screaming at him, you know. So I think it's important for you not to live alone. Even, you know, I was talking to my wife. She says, well, I want to stay here forever. I'm like, you know, in 10 years, I'm telling you, you know, I want to be somewhere. I don't want to sit by the pool by myself. You know what I mean?
You'll get stagnant.
I want to socialize. I want to, you know, it's kind of like going to school. When you go to school, you meet people, right?
Yeah.
Well, when business, you meet people. As you get older and you retire, where are you going to meet those people? If you don't play, you know, if you don't belong to a country club, or you don't have a neighborhood that.
Are you going to start playing pickleball?
You know, I started we were on vacation in Florida. I did play.
Yeah.
There was 2 of us. It's hard playing with 2. 4 is.
You got to have a good teammate, yeah.
Yeah. You got to have 4 would be cool. I think so. Yeah.
And where, because I already know the answer, but for the people watching, where do you vacation the most?
Marco Island. I say there's Marco Island, and Marco Island in Naples. I mean, it's 2 hours away. Get on a plane. You're on the beach, you know, by noon.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've gone all over. We've been to, you know, Puerto Rico. We've been to Mexico, Italy, everywhere. And I love Italy. But I said, from now on, our main vacation, I want to go Marco Island, because all of a sudden, you know, you get laid over in certain area. You know, it's a straight flight. You don't have to worry about.
Yeah, you're going straight in.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about all day flying and all day back. And
you fly into Fort Myers, or where do you go?
We fly into Fort Myers.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could take long weekends there. You could leave on a Thursday, come back on a Sunday.
And do you have a place on there, or do you just?
No, we rented a place with 2 other couples, and we all had 10 days each, because I couldn't go there for 3 months. So that worked out really well. Now next year we probably are going to rent on a golf course and try that, because my wife started playing golf, and actually we played a few times out there and got to meet some people. So I want that country club atmosphere.
Yeah.
So we're going to rent at a club and be able to play golf and you know, get to know people.
That's so we work.
Oh, a lot of our friends go there every winter too. So
I was gonna say the funny thing. So probably a quarter of the people we work with are in Southwest Florida. Yeah. And what's funny is they say everyone from the Midwest goes to Southwest Florida. Uh-huh. Everyone on the East Coast stays on the east side of Florida. But we fell in love with Naples. I mean, that is it's just a nice place. You can see what money does when it takes care of places, and it's just so.
The weather's pretty consistent. We probably 80% of the time that we go, it's 85, maybe 90.
Yeah.
It's sunny and, warm. And so you can count on that.
Yeah, I love it down there. And when did you first go down to Florida?
Well, we had a house in Chautauqua. We used to go there when we were raising our kids. We had a house in Lake Chautauqua, which was awesome. That's another thing that really bound the family together. We always had a house full of people. We were there by ourselves. That was one of the best things I ever did in my life. But as the kids started going to high school and stuff, they were playing hockey. So in the summertime, all of a sudden they had to start doing tryouts because we always pretty much told everybody in the summertime, if you weren't direct family, you were getting an envelope if you got married because we weren't going to be there.
Yeah.
Birthday parties were going to be in Chautauqua. So that was awesome. After that, then we wound up going to Marco. I bought a house as an investment in Marco, and we were going out there for about 6 years. And then when '08 hit, that was part of that whole.
Sold it.
Yeah, that was part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Florida's awesome. It's a very.
But I got my license. I had my 2 boys go there. We were going to start building there. We got our license just before '08, and then everything hit the fan. So decided, hey, and so I'll go there vacation. Everybody goes, are you going to go out there and build? I said, no, I just want a vacation there. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, God gave you the warning.
Yeah, right.
You tried once.
Stay where you're at. Stay what you know.
Yeah. And do you think that that's been a skill set you've had as you've just kept, like you've stayed in the same area, but what your product has been has just kept evolving and evolving? And
yeah, of course, it's evolved. It's evolved. I mean, I always had an eye for, design and customization, but it's evolved. I'm not the same builder I was 35 years ago or even 10 years ago. It's all from learning just reading books and going online. And now online, I mean, everything's easy. If you do the homework, you can figure things out to be different.
And is it crazy for you to see how much just the whole building space has changed with the internet? Like how much has the internet truly changed the building space?
Well, it used to be that everybody, you could call someone the next day. They call you, they leave a message. Nowadays, if you don't answer them right away, and it's just made us work harder, really. I kind of, if I could take it all back and go back the way it was, I would go back the way it was. Because all we're doing is working harder for less money or same amount of money. I mean, I can't imagine with these kids, probably even you with a social life on that thing. And then your business life and put them all, I don't know how you do it. Are you going to do it?
I actually deleted my personal page on Instagram for 2 years when I started the company because it was all just people I partied with in college. It was the wrong people, but I kept the phone numbers, kept the relationships. And very quickly, I just kind of realized that I am Alex, the business person, and I'm Alex, the human. And so for me, I kind of have a rule of create more than you consume, whether it's for business or myself. So it's like, if I'm going to work on Pat's videos today, my videos today, once they're posted and I've seen the reaction, get off.
Yeah, you got it. I always made time to go home and go to dinner with my kids, my family. I could have been probably 3 times the size I am. All those years when we were raising our kids, we went to Chautauqua on the weekends. And that's, people are in model homes on the weekends, you know what I mean? But I was able to manage all that and still raise our kids and be with our kids. I think I went to every one of their games, sometimes both at the same time. I don't know how I did it, but we did it.
Yeah, one half.
Like I said, once Lauren, which is our youngest, went to college, and her whole entourage left, we were like, all of a sudden, what the hell happened here?
Yeah.
It was like just peace, not peace. It was just like total quietness that we were used to. And we're like, what do we do? And that's okay for the first week. But then, after that, it's like, okay, we really enjoyed raising our kids and doing all the things we did with them because we grew up with them. Clearly, we grew up with them.
And clearly, like, as you're saying, that didn't make you fail in business. If anything, now you have a chance to actually work with your son.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. One of the things that I will say is the more I've met more successful people, it's very cool to see when families work together. I have one uncle who is in venture capital who we do these check-in calls, and he's the only one in my family I can talk to honestly about what's going on in business. And we always say, he'll go, hey, do you have 5 to 10 minutes? And I'm on the phone for 2 hours. And that's just it's awesome. And I want to give you congratulations that you've built something that you can do that in.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a goal of mine one day. Yeah, honestly, Pat, thank you. This was episode 15.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on here and talking. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to learn from this.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you next week. And thank you guys for watching.